Hey everyone, how's it going? This video is going to be the futures indices market tone and my focus list on the equities for the upcoming week. We're going to start with the indices first and dive into the equities second. The S&P 500 had a couple selling days last week but rebounded strong. We held the SMA right here at 43.44. We have a strong important pivot point around 44.22. And these pink lines are the extremes. I don't expect to lose these levels. If we do, something very important has occurred. The more dotted lines right here at 44.94 and 43.80 are our breakout long and our breakdown short. And these flat lines at 44.72, 44.11 are the resistance 1 and support 1. So that is the breakdown for the S&P. On the NASDAQ, all these lines signify the same thing. And the market looks quite similar. We have our trend line right here, 2 very bullish days. I'm interested to see which way the NASDAQ goes, but something about the market just seems a bit weak lately. But with this strong day on Thursday, that volume was huge. So we can't really predict anything. We're just going to manage risk and speculate according to what the information tells us. If we do take out this spot at 15,172, there is a little bit of room, but you don't really want to go long until we have confirmed that breakout and we take out the 15,295 spot. Our pivot and our support 1 is very close at this 14,996 area. So if we do lose that level, we break down short at 14,872, and that is a lot of room until our support 3 at 14,998. So that's the NASDAQ. Let's hop into the DAX. And this looks quite interesting. We have some good room all around this chart. The pivot point is right around where we closed on Friday. And I don't know what's going to happen, but you see we have that nice gap right here. And often, more times than not, the gap likes to get filled. There are a bunch of key levels around, and it's basically be patient and let the levels react before you take any trades. We don't want to force anything or be biased towards anything. We just take the levels, take what the chart and the information tells us, and react to it. Above 1600, that is our breakout long spot, and we have room all the way to 16,328. And similar, look at this room. Let's use the trend line to measure the percentage. So that 2.05%, and to the downside, 1.98%. So this market could go either way. We don't really want to force our hand. Be patient and let it reveal what it wants to do to you. The Russell 2000, very similar. We've been in this range for weeks and weeks. It's been a big range. But once we do take out this range, that is when a good longer term swing trade is optimal. Below 2111, we have room down to 2018, and above 2222, we have room all the way to 2318. So really this could go either way. You see the range has been built, and while we're in a range, there are scalp plays that could definitely be taken, but there isn't that clear long or short setup. On the treasuries, it seems like we're kind of flagging. It isn't too strong of a flag, but if we do take out a little trend line right here, we do have not that much resistance above. So keep your eye on that trend line, but we could go either way. FTSE, let's see. We have this spot right here at 7,300. That is a monthly time frame DTL, which is a downward trend line. And if we do take out that, our larger resistance is at 74.23. But breakout long, you don't really want to rush into this breakout long. Maybe a little scalp, but 72.17 is right below that monthly DTL. The pivot is at 70.93, but we're in kind of a range. These lines are more definitely for shorter term scalping plays, for the quicker trades, get in, get out, manage your risk, and it's not guaranteed to work, but over longer time, these levels are proven to provide profitability if you manage your risk and you understand what the lines in the price action is telling you. Lastly, let's check out the VIX, and it looks like we've broken this downward trend line, but I drew this from the monthly time frame, so it isn't that accurate. And the VIX is just a nice instrument to let you know when volatility is flowing into the market, but it's not really the only. The way the market works in general is you use things in terms of confluence. When multiple factors are lining up, that is when you should be getting that bell starting to ring, and you realize all these things are lining up. Okay, now let's take that trade. Let's hop into the focus list for the equities. Apple faked me out. I don't know how much I like this entry. It really, looking back on it, you use the weekly chart, and the best of swing trades come from the weekly time frame rather than the daily time frame, unless it was a good ascending triangle. But this market is just the type of market that you're better off buying mean reversion entries rather than chasing breakouts, even if they're not extended. That's just what the market has been telling me lately. I've been having much more success buying mean reversion setups. ABBV, it looks pretty good. You see this trend line, we've been forming higher lows, and we have a nice clean base like Pat Walker always says. Let's see if volume comes in over the 120 spot, because over that 120 spot, we do have a bit of resistance over here from a couple months ago, but nothing besides that. So ideally, since this market has proven not to be the best for buying breakouts, you would wait for a pop out of the box on high volume and a retracement, a mean reversion entry on lower volume. ASIN, I don't love that we have failed multiple times, but what I can give it credit is we're not really losing any lows. It's not perfect higher lows, but we are tightening up, so keep your eye on that. AVNT, this DTL right here looks pretty good, so maybe we get a pop out and a retracement on lower volume, holding this 49 level, decent entry. BMBL, this is more of a mean name, but the DTL looks pretty good. Let's see if we could take out the EMA right here, maybe I love the pop out of the box setup, where we pop out and retrace on lower volume. You see a volume contraction pattern as well, and those, like I said before, the confluence of the market, that is what brings you the best opportunities, rather than just going on a whim or hoping for something. You never want to be hoping in the market. BNTX and DTL, the market profile shows a large volume area right here. So we break out of here, maybe on some nice volume. You see the past couple days, the volume has been multiplied by at least 2 times. And that's something good to see when it's a potential accumulation of big money volume. BSY, this is a very clean downward trend line. The market profile signifies a lot of volume, and I would much rather than chasing a breakout, even if Maybe if it's a very high volume institutional money breakout, but for the most part, the market, it hasn't been rewarding breakouts recently, so you just gotta listen to what the market's telling you. CFLT, this thing is more of a recent IPO, a high growth name. Look at that volume on the run up. That shows you want to pay attention when that big volume comes in on the run up. Now we have a high type flag forming around this area 55, a key, like almost a whole number. Let's see what happens. This is one of those names where maybe if we tighten up, get an entry earlier in the week on some high volume, I'd be willing to take a breakout. And you can always position size properly. If you know that breakouts haven't been working lately, but you're still tempted to give one a shot, you don't have to go full position. Just go a quarter or half your position size, so you understand that the odds are not in your favor, but you still might get a good entry and be able to add full or 3/4 of your size later on another consolidation later into the move. The biggest winners, you never really get into the trade all at once. So that's just what I've noticed over time. Capital One, this is exactly what I mean with a pop out of the box. We have a nice line right here, a clean, simple base, and we pull back. Check out that volume on Friday. It's not amazing, but that nice little doji candle showing that the buyers stepped in right there. Maybe if we tighten up, risk off those lows, we have support right here with the volume profile there. That's what I mean with a confluence of multiple factors. Core, I don't love this one, but the volume recently of late has me a bit interested. I'm not one to buy broken names, but just to keep it on the list, maybe give it an entry, but be patient with that. And don't really, personally, I'm not a fan of buying broken names like that. Dash, this thing looks very strong. Even though last week wasn't too great, the market did get beat up. But Thursday and Friday, we do show high volume coming in, and support has been held. They defended this area quite well. Above this little pivot, 194.8, we don't have much volume on the profile, and we don't have much resistance either. Not my favorite setup, but worth watching. D-Dog, this thing from the gap right here, we have a nice high type flag forming, high volume coming in. I think it needs some more consolidation, but you don't want to miss some strength like that. Docs, this thing, look at that volume profile. We had very strong moves right here and a high type flag forming with a lot of volume in there, so don't want to miss that. DVAX, check out this, a long-term line, clean line, 12.5 is important. I don't love this consolidation, but check out that significant volume. When the volume is up and we get a nice run-up, it's holding the big run-up. You don't want to be slacking on those type of charts. It signifies that there is interest. ETR, look at this. We just have a bunch of room. We zoom in, and this thing was rocking. Even when we had some downward days in the overall market, the NAS and the SPY, this thing did not care at all. So I'd like to see that relative strength. Hubs with the high type flag, it looks pretty good. Nothing much more to say. There's no resistance above. We take out this 666.5, and it's, look at that profile. You see, you get that gap, not much volume, but then the volume comes in around here while we hold the levels. Shows me that people are interested. Look at this. Not my favorite to see that we have the downwards trend right here, but we have recovered. It's not the cleanest of bases. I would definitely not be buying a breakout on that. Net, this is a strong stock. We see a lot of these moves occurring in that even though the market had some selling days last week, We're still in a confirmed uptrend. There's no reason to really be bearish. Sure, understand your shorter term time frame scalpable levels. That is important as always. But there's plenty of swing opportunities approaching, and net is one of those. You see the volume profile signifying that people are interested in this consolidation. It isn't a low volume consolidation. Netflix showed relative strength last week, and let's hop on the weekly because this is such a big pattern. But I don't really expect this move out of this pattern to be clean. Because Netflix, look at how choppy it's been. Sure, it's a nice range, higher lows, good volume profile. But I just have a feeling, just an intuition that when we do get this breakout of Netflix, it's going to pull back. And maybe that is where you take your higher probability entry on the pullback, pop out of the triangle. Ratty, this thing looks amazing. A clean, simple base. We didn't really struggle with the overall market when there was relative weakness there. So I'm not one to buy breakouts, even though it was a pretty good volume breakout on Friday. I mean, I take that back, not too much volume. But if we do get a pop out, hold that key level, very interesting. You see, this fake out right here, I'm not a fan of. And this is why I've been saying I haven't been finding success buying breakouts lately. This is a clean example of exactly that. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we take out 744 and form a high tech flag around there. I would be interested in that. Road. We've seen a lot of these patterns, and when they form like this, how many weeks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 10 to 15 weeks we got a huge volume profile. This move, when it takes out that DTL, will be a strong move. So keep an eye on this, be patient. I don't know how the fundamentals of the construction industry have been lately, but it looks like a good chart. SITM, this thing, it's not the cleanest, but high volume on this consolidation and high volume on the volume profile. So it shows me there is a lot of interest. Sometimes Thinkorswim deletes things off the watch list. You gotta notice that. They just tried to take that off my watch list, and clearly it's on there for a reason. Skin, look at this DTL. You get a nice earnings gap there, a strong day there, and we broke out of that clean base. So this is more of a phase 2 entry. I don't know about buying breakouts, but more on the high growth names, I'm a little more prone or tempted to take a chance on the breakouts, maybe with just a quarter size. This thing, look at this. You had a beautiful day on Friday, and the market wasn't bad. The market was good on Friday, but it's nice to see when certain names are being strong, the market leaders. You don't want to be buying the weaker names. Let's stick to the stronger names. Upstart, look at this gap, and now we're kind of consolidating. I don't love how it's been acting compared to those stronger days on Thursday and Friday with the overall market, but Upstart kind of suffered. But with a gap that big, you gotta keep it on your list. It's worth watching. And lastly, we got ZI. Low volume contraction pattern right here, kind of a high type flag. We do have a bit of resistance, but we'll see what happens. There seems to be so much volume on the profile. Interested? So that is my indices breakdown and focus list for the week. Hopefully you learned anything. I'm working towards profitability. I am profitable as a swing trader, and I'm always learning, continuously reading books, continuously checking out new people to learn from. There's so much information today, the podcasts, the YouTube videos, the FinTwit. So get out there and put some time, some focused, diligent effort into educating yourself, whatever it is, financial markets, health, nutrition, psychology, philosophy, anything. But do yourself a favor, invest in yourself, and if you learned anything, I'd appreciate some feedback, constructive criticism. Drop me a like, and be sure to check out some of my other videos, because I think each video is getting better, but it's kind of hard to know when I'm not getting a lot of feedback. But I know with continuous effort and the continuous education of oneself, I have value to share with others. So I do learn a lot by doing this myself, and that is primarily why I make these videos, to help ingrain the focus, the plan, and the patience into myself for the week. So remember, the biggest part of trading, 99% of it, is the psychology. Take care of your mind, be healthy, enjoy your afternoon, and thank you.